Richie Woodhall gave a fair evaluation of the bout, describing it as a difficult battle to anticipate. He also commended Parker's notable advancements in recent years, emphasizing his quickness, defensive prowess, and general boxing aptitude. Despite acknowledging Parker's strengths, Woodhall ultimately picked Dubois as the likely winner, recognizing Dubois' power and skill.
Weeks away now. Do you have a favourite? Do you have a pick, an opinion, Richie?
Tough fight to call because Parker has improved so much over his last 3 or 4 fights. Got the speed back, you know, and he's a really good boxer. But then you have to give a lot of credit to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois has come through some really good contests where he keeps improving, and I think he'll improve again. So if I had to go one way or the other, I'd probably just edge towards Dubois. Great jab, and I felt that jab taking him on the pads many times. Real good kid. Decent boxer, a lot of power in his right hand, but also the left hook on the inside is probably his hidden punch. That's the real danger shot. So I'd probably just edge towards Daniel, to be honest.
Just last one on that then. A lot of people have said to me about they can see Daniel either winning it within the first half of the fight, but if it hits the second half of the fight, it could be Joe Parker taking over. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, that's it, yeah, I think. But having said that, I think Daniel's beginning to manage the rounds a lot better now. He's not like that early Daniel Dubois when he went off a little bit too quick. He now seems to have settled down. He's getting more seasoned, so he's handling the 12 rounds a lot better. But yeah, I'd probably agree with it in that Daniel's going to be really dangerous in the first half of the fight, and for me, Joseph Parker will have to avoid a lot of shots early and then probably try and get Daniel in the later stages of the contest. But if he goes on those tactics, he could come unstuck because, like I say, I think Daniel Dubois manages a contest a lot better now.
A boxing expert dissected Dubois' fighting style, pointing out that he frequently gets eager to unleash his powerful right hand. He recalled how Dubois' right hand nearly hurt Anthony Joshua during their fight, implying that Dubois would likely employ a similar strategy against Parker. The expert also emphasized Dubois' aggressive jab and underrated footwork as key weapons in this battle.
See pros and cons for both fighters here, obviously. Daniel Dubois, physically so strong, punches so hard with both hands, and the way he's just grabbing fights by the scruff of the neck now, concentrating on what he does as opposed to what his opponent does, has been so impressive. And against Anthony Joshua, I mean, that right hand was just thunderous. Every time he caught AJ, he just put a dent in the big Londoner, and I think that is something that he's going to have to try and do in this fight. He's got to try and look for that right hand. First things first, I think he needs to try and establish a rhythm with the jab, get behind the jab, be aggressive on the front foot, and when he lets the right hand go, he's got to bring that front foot in. Every now and again, he's so eager to let the right hand go that he forgets to bring the feet in. And I've said this before, and lots of people, top analysts, have said this. The footwork of Daniel Dubois is a little bit underrated. He's very cute in the way that he slides in and out of range. But it's so important that your eagerness to let the hands go is mirrored with your feet. You've got to be very aggressive on those feet, because what you don't want to be doing is falling over that front foot. Someone like Parker is smart enough, experienced enough to look for the counter shot. So he needs to be careful that he doesn't get caught with a right hand of his own. Parker, very good at taking his head off the line and looping over a big right hand. Lots of variation in the shot. So it's important that Daniel Dubois brings his feet in behind the jab and throws a nice solid right hand. Even aim for this area and hope that your opponent's going to slip down. But I think the way that he's just physically imposing himself into fights.
Martin Blay expressed his prediction in favor of Joseph Parker, citing Parker's superior experience, speed, and hand movement as key factors giving him the edge. Blay believes Parker's refined boxing skills will give him an advantage over Dubois in this fight.
Dubois or Parker next, because why I'm fighting a Jagba, I'm fighting for final IBF or Eliminator. So soon I win the fight, so I will want it. It's not me. The Excellency already said after me, after a Jagba fight, I have to face the win.
Right. And how are you leaning towards that one? Are you leaning towards Parker? Are you leaning towards Dubois, or do you think it's quite a close fight?
No, I'm leaning on Parker. Parker is going to win the fight. That's my opinion, because he's got more experience and hard speed and movement. I think Parker is going to win the fight.
In his analysis, Richard Riakporhe highlighted Daniel Dubois' confidence and dominant body language, demonstrating his self-belief. However, he also acknowledged Joseph Parker's vast improvements, particularly after training with Tyson Fury. Parker has made significant strides under Fury's guidance, which could be the deciding factor in this matchup. Riak Porhe called Dubois a dangerous opponent but praised Parker's explosiveness, boxing IQ, and resilience against elite fighters. In the end, he viewed the fight as a 50-50 contest.
Dubois against Joseph Parker. I wonder how you see that fight going. A lot of people are thinking that Parker has a real chance, and I'm framing it as an upset, but in their minds it wouldn't be. I wonder if you've seen a whole new confidence in Daniel Dubois since he knocked out Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a different type of mindset. You can see his body language. He looks like he knows exactly who he is, what he's capable of. Daniel Parker, on the other hand, he is a very dangerous man. He's changed a lot in his camp. I saw an interview of him. He went to stay with Tyson Fury in his house. Tyson Fury put him up. He gave him everything he needed to help develop him even further. And I feel like that's probably going to be a big telltale sign in the result of this fight. He's just explosive. He's fast. He's smart. He's come through big fights, big wins. Zhang, Wilder, nobody thought he would do it. He was just always the underdog, and he's got the perfect momentum for him to do what he needs to do in this fight. But at the same time, he can't overlook Daniel Dubois. We know what he brings. He's a very dangerous fighter, and I feel, me personally, if you're going to ask my opinion, I think it's a 50-50.
The heavyweight division is unpredictable. Before his fight, Joseph Parker spoke exclusively about his mindset, emphasizing a balanced approach to training. He explained that while big fights often increase training intensity, he is treating this bout like any other, maintaining his usual focus on endurance, power, and speed. This proves that styles make fights, as seen in Parker's recent victory over Zhang, who had previously stopped Dubois.
Going into this one?
Let's see. I would say back then, when the fight is bigger, or if it's in a bigger fight or a bigger event, you tend to change up the training, or you train more, or you train harder. It's not to say that you weren't training hard before, but I think with this fight, we're just treating it as another fight, obviously the championship of the world. But everything we've been doing leading into the fight has been, I feel, has been very good. We've seen benefits of it in training, endurance, power, speed, and I think we're just keeping it the same, but it's the same as the other fights, so we're just staying focused and staying on top of what we need to do.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say there, because I think a term that's used in football, especially when it comes to big matches, is play the game, not the occasion. Do you sort of subscribe to that in boxing as well? Like, is it important to sort of let's not ignore how big this fight is, but as you say, like, important to just sort of focus on it as any other fight? Yeah,
I mean, if you look too far ahead to the fight, you sort of miss out on the process of and what you're trying to achieve, and that's to give every day the best that you can to prepare for the fight. The fight will come eventually, and if you can do everything right in camp in terms of training, eating, resting, recovery, when the fight comes, the result will take care of itself. So I think as maturity has sort of come towards my way, I feel like I'm finding it a bit more comfort and more understanding of what I'm doing.
Promoter Frank Warren praised the bout, calling it a fantastic matchup. He highlighted Dubois' growing confidence at this stage of his career and emphasized that he will look to maintain his momentum. Warren's excitement underscores the fight's significance in the heavyweight title picture. Previously, Joseph Parker had stated that he would face the winner of Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. Now that Dubois has won, Parker has his opportunity. Several boxing analysts have cautioned against underestimating Parker, noting that he has repeatedly neutralized dangerous punchers with his boxing intelligence. His ability to negate power makes him a real threat to Dubois in this fight.
To take away the threat of serious power in the way that he boxes. Obviously, Daniel Dubois, we know he's got some serious power, but
are you talking about Wilder in this instance?
Zhang got a lot of power as well.
Yeah, okay.
And Zhang's hands are actually quite fast.
Yeah, they're very fast.
Well, yeah, but his hands are quite rapid. Parker proved in those two fights that he can box to a game plan, stick to a game plan, and obviously execute a game plan. Now, the Dubois thing is an interesting one because Dubois is quicker than the pair of them that we've just been speaking about, right? And he also carries that power.
Yeah.
do not back against Joseph Parker in this fight, because he could nullify this bomb. He could defuse this bomb, and he could throw the cat amongst the pigeons with this particular fight. I agree with you. I think Dubois is the favourite going into the fight, given the run that he's currently on. But Parker's tail will be up.
He's a live underdog.
He's earned
for
this
sure.
opportunity, and he could go in there and nullify this. And
That concludes today's video. Stay tuned for more updates.